The Great Pie Bake-Off. In the small town of Orchardville, an annual event brought together people from near and far, the Great Pie Bake-Off. For this was not just any pie competition, the winner would receive the coveted golden rolling pin and the honor of being Orchardville's finest pie maker for a whole year. Sarah, a young woman with a passion for baking, had been perfecting her apple pie recipe for months. Her grandmother's old recipe had been passed down through generations, with Sarah adding her own twist to it. She was determined to enter the competition and take home the golden rolling pin. On the other side of town, an equally determined baker named Peter was busy preparing his blueberry pie. He believed that the secret to a perfect pie was in the crust, and he had spent years mastering the art of making it flaky. And Peter had come close to winning the previous year, and he was sure that this would be his year. The day of the competition dawned bright and sunny. The aroma of freshly baked pies filled the air as participants set up their stalls, displaying their pies with pride. Judges wandered from stall to stall, tasting and making notes, while eager attendees waited for their chance to sample the delicious offerings. Sarah's apple pie was a hit. The combination of sweet and tart apples, the hint of cinnamon, and the perfectly golden crust had the judges nodding in approval. Whispers filled the air about the delicious pie from the young newcomer. Peter's blueberry pie was equally impressive. The berries burst with flavor, and the crust was, as always, impeccable. He received many compliments, with some saying it was even better than the previous year's pie. The competition was fierce, with other bakers presenting pies filled with cherries, peaches, and even some exotic fruits. But as the day wore on, it became clear that the real competition was between Sarah and Peter. Finally, the time came for the judges to announce the winner. The crowd held its breath, waiting in anticipation. The head judge took the microphone and began praising the high quality of all the pies. Then, with a dramatic pause, he announced, "This year, we have a tie." The crowd gasped. A tie had never happened in the history of the Great Pie Bake-Off. Sarah and Peter looked at each other, surprise evident in their eyes. The judge continued, "The golden rolling pin will be shared by Sarah's apple pie and Peter's blueberry pie." Cheers erupted from the crowd. Sarah and Peter approached the stage, both beaming with pride. They were handed the golden rolling pin, which they held together, symbolizing their joint victory. The day ended with a huge pie feast. Sarah and Peter set up a stall together, offering slices of their winning pies. The crowd loved it, and the two bakers realized that while competition was fun, collaboration was even sweeter. From that day on, Sarah and Peter became the best of friends. They opened a bakery together in Orchardville, offering a variety of pies, each more delicious than the last. The townspeople often remarked that the pies tasted even better now that they were made with a special ingredient, friendship. And so, the tale of the Great Pie Bake-Off became not just a story of competition but a lesson in the joy of coming together and celebrating shared passions. The people of Orchardville looked forward to the event every year, not just for the pies but for the spirit of community and togetherness it fostered. Journey through a dreamland. Sophie had always been a vivid dreamer. Each night, she would find herself in a new world, facing new adventures. But one night, she entered a realm unlike any other she had ever experienced. As she opened her eyes, she found herself standing on a floating pathway made of crystal. The sky was awash with colors she had never seen before, shimmering and changing every second. Giant waterfalls flowed from floating islands, but instead of water, they were cascading stardust that sparkled brilliantly. Curiously, she began to walk along the pathway. Each step she took emitted a soft, melodic tone, creating a harmony as she moved. Before long, she came across a river. Instead of water, it flowed with pure liquid silver. A boat, seemingly made of pure light, waited at the shore, with a figure beckoning her to come aboard. The boatman, dressed in robes of shifting colors, nodded at Sophie. "Would you like to see the wonders of Dreamland?" he asked with a smile that felt comforting. She nodded, her heart filled with excitement. The boat glided effortlessly over the liquid silver, taking her past forests where trees had trunks of gold and leaves made of precious gems. They soared over mountains with peaks touching the kaleidoscopic sky and valleys where flowers sang lullabies.